Hello everyone, this is Remleiz from 40k Theories, and welcome to this new episode of Adeptus Podcastus. Joining me as always is Tactica Imperialis.
Hello everyone, I hope you had a very pleasant Christmas if you were celebrating it, and it's not technically at the time of recording, but it is at the time of release. Happy New Year for 2023!
Happy New Year!
I hope.
Yes indeed, it has been a
It's been a
wild ride!
In and out of the hobby. I mean, just thinking about where I was versus where I am now, personally, is mental.
I was going to make a joke about how it's been a long time.
Oh no.
Getting from there to here.
Oh god, I don't even know that reference. I'm guessing that's an old wrestler theme.
No, it's actually Star Trek. Enterprise, the theme song.
Oh god. Right.
Because I got faith of the heart. Yeah, come on, leave a comment down there if you know the lyrics, because let's be honest, everyone bloody well does. So, in the news this week, let's talk about that really big reveal. New Ripperjacks.
Well, that does start us off chronologically, so yeah, sure, we'll start there. So, Necromunda has had two previews, as per usual. We will get to the other one in just a bit. But yes, they have released new Ripperjacks. Remleiz, please be kept in context and explain what the heck that means.
Right, so Ripperjacks are a type of creature that are found in the Underhive of Necromunda, and they are basically just wings and teeth. As one person described on Twitter, it's basically Vagina Dentina come to life, essentially.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I love these redesigns because the original Ripperjack models from like the first edition Necromunda, which was around 2nd edition 40k, they were just basically bootleg facehuggers from Aliens. So these actually look nice and distinct and suitably disgusting. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and they're not alone. They do come with a human character, the Outland Beastmaster, which, to be honest, looks like it came straight out of Age of Sigmar, and you can't convince me otherwise.
I mean, look on the price. That means, conversion opportunities.
Absolutely. It's a good thing. It's not a complaint. It's more just a, you know what? I really would have expected that to be a Chaos model for AOS rather than a Necromunda model, but that's just me.
I suppose you could always potentially use it as, some kind of, Dark Elf Beastmaster for things like, the Hydra or something, I suppose, couldn't you?
Yeah, but they stand on the base, so it's kind of a waste of time. But either way, the actual biggest thing, and I'm going purely by dimensions here, is 4 new battle forces.
Oh, yeah. 4 Space Marine battle forces, wasn't it?
Indeed. They are Space Marine battle forces that are also complemented by upgrade sprues. You might remember when the Primaris came out, they did Primaris upgrade kits for different legions and chapters. Well, they've put them in the box, which is kind of nice of them, for once.
And GW being GW, of course the Ultramarine one tends to be the best value, because you're getting both Calgar and Tigerius in it.
Yeah, I think if it weren't for the fact that it had both heroes, it's actually really, 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 really boring. Like, it's 10 Intercessors, okay, 10 Hellblasters, a great, really powerful unit, but okay, 3 Blade Guard Vets, okay, most people have a squad of most of this stuff from the 9th edition starters kits and all of that, and then they just chuck in Calgar, Tigurius, and the Victrix Guard and just be like, hey, have a bunch of generics and cheap access to 2 named characters if you play Ultramarines, which is not a bad thing, to be honest. Like,
no.
Every single one of these boxes contains a named character. Please don't take it as, the Ultramarines are getting all the fun stuff, because if you get the Iron Hands box, you get Iron Father Pharos and a 2nd Tech Marine and 2 Dreadnoughts. So, that's not bad if you're going down an Iron Hands or Dreadnought-themed army, as long as 10 Intercessors. The Salamander...
And the White Scars... I was going to say, the White Scars one's funny because it's all bikes, except for the character who's on foot.
Yeah, you've got, 6 Outriders, 2 Invader ATVs, a Chaplain on bike, and Corsaro Khan on legs. Which is, again, a really good expansion pack for a White Scars army. Yes, I don't think it's a legal army typically, although they have released a new Arcs of Omen detachment that basically says just take anything, so it doesn't massively matter now. But it's essentially 3 fast attack slots and 2 HQs, which is absolutely fine. And there's a Salamander's Force, which has got Adrak Zagatone, 20 Intercessors, 3 Eradicators, the Melter ones, and 3 Aggressors, which could probably be built as the Flamer variant because, of course, you should hit Salamanders.
Wasn't the Flamer variant one the monopose kits?
I'm pretty sure...
Like, you know, the easy build push fit ones.
I'm assuming that this multi-part kit can be built with Flamers. Surely.
Because the Aggressor box sets, I've only ever seen them with the Boltstorm gauntlets, and the Flamer ones were always the push fit easy build ones. You know, because remember when there was those budget Primaris models that came out ages back? Like you had the budget Intercessors, the budget Dreadnought, and the budget Aggressors, because they were all just had the same monopose push fit construction with the very, very boring poses and limited weapon options, as in one.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Looking at the box, so it says, there are 3 sets of each weapon in the kit, Boltstorm or Flamestorm.
Ah, okay.
And there's also 1 grenade launcher as well.
Well, shut me up.
To be fair, I didn't know. I've actually had to go and check the kit on GW's website to know for sure. Enough. So it's probably used to be like that, but I think they've finally sort of got somewhere. The only disappointment is they're all Marines. I know we just had the, end of year army boxes, which was great. The end of Christmas battle forces are always nice to have around, but like these are the ones that are going to stay on permanent sale, and they're all just Marines.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised that it's just these 4 chapters, that you're not getting anything for the Raven Guard or the Imperial Fists or even the Space Wolves or Blood Angels.
I think part of it, let me just check did any Space Marines get anything in the Christmas Battle Forces? Because I wasn't on that episode, I'm trying to remind myself.
Oh god, I'm
literally just scrolling back through Warhammer Community to check.
Actually, there might have been an Imperial Fist one, I think, because I think Tor Garridan was in one of them.
Yes, yeah, that sounds right. Oh my god!
Did the Raven Guard get one? Because I don't recall any box set with Shrike in it.
Right, they're the AOS ones. Yeah, they're the AOS ones. That is not helpful at all. Goodness sake, article. And now I've got to scroll all the way back again. Right.
Wham, wham.
Search. Christmas Battle Force.
3 hours later.
Go away.
It's something absolutely insane, I imagine, but hey. So yeah, how about we just do the entire show singing the Star Trek Enterprise theme tune, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we do that?
Please don't.
I think we should.
There we go. Found the 40k Battle Force article. There was an Imperial Fist one, and there was also a Raven Guard one.
Oh. Yeah, no Blood Angel or Space Wolves, so I'm surprised they haven't gotten one.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but at the same time, they're not Codex chapters. Like, well, I know they are now because they've completely changed how the bloody stuff works, but they have their own expansion. I know the Ultramarines do, but they're the Ultramarines. So,
did the Dark Angels get one?
No.
No, okay.
They were too busy getting something else.
Ah, yes.
Getting
screwed over. No, I'm just kidding.
Why don't we go there next, since I brought it up?
Yes, the newest person to cross the Rubicon Primaris was Azrael, who's probably the only Primaris Marine who actually has, like, a Mark 7 helmet.
Oh yeah, he does. That is genuinely, actually, I think you're right, that's genuinely the only Mark 7 Primaris. What's actually interesting about the Azrael model is, one, it's a pretty decent model. I think it's much better with the hat on. Sorry, it just is. I mean, he looks fine. But is that they've stayed a lot truer to the original incarnation than they usually do. Like, when they Primara...
It's a very similar pose, isn't it?
It is. Like, one, they kept the banner the ruddy same. They didn't have to do that. They could have easily updated it to look a little less second edition jank, but they didn't. They just made it look more dynamic and painted it better.
Second edition jank, that's part of the charm.
I know, but they actually stuck to it, is what I mean. They stuck to the jank. And his armor looks pretty much the same. His robes look pretty much the same. He's got a tiny bit more detailing around his waist, yes, with some extra plating because he's a Primaris now. In fact, the thing they changed the most is his bloody gun, because they moved the magazine from below and behind the trigger in classic second edition jank to out of the side of the gun to make it look more like a gun.
Yeah, because if you actually looked at the art for that gun, it made absolutely no sense because of how far the magazine was compared to like how high up the ejection slot for the bolt casings were. It's like, how does the bullet get up from down there to up there? It does not make sense.
I understand. I know why they've done it, and I agree that they needed to change it. It's just, I've never seen a combi weapon where they bothered to put a magazine on it out the side. I don't think I've ever seen them do it before because they've left space for the plasma cell, which normally they don't bother doing. They put the magazine there, but they haven't. They put the plasma cell there.
I just imagine that someone looked at it and said, yeah, this ain't going to fucking work at all, because this is one person in the design team who actually has a concept of how physics works or something.
Yeah, I think it's also noteworthy that they put the Watcher of the Dark on his base, which is a common thing they've done as they've made newer models. They generally move accoutrement models off their own base onto a base with the models, except in the case of ammo runts and grot orderlies, because they actually have a gameplay purpose.
Yeah. I also think it's nice that they've actually got, options for your Watcher. So you can either have him holding a helmet or holding a little sword.
Yeah, well, the scabbard for the sword. But no, it does.
Tomato.
Well, yeah, it makes sense as well, because it means that if you equip Azrael with the hat, then the Watcher doesn't need to carry the hat, so he can carry the scabbard, and vice versa. If Azrael doesn't have his hat on, then the Watcher can carry the hat. I also appreciate that as much as they've had to make it a lot bigger, the Lion Sword looks the same.
It's not the Lion Sword, it's the Sword of Secrets.
Oh, yes, shoot. Cypher's got the Lion Sword.
Yeah, Cypher's got that one, yeah.
You know what I mean? They've kept the sword looking the same.
Agreed.
So, yeah, as much as it's probably not what I think some Dark Angels players were hoping for, because it's exactly the same model, I kind of give the design team credit for showing restraint and properly updating and remastering the model instead of just making something brand new and completely not Azrael. I think it's...
Agreed.
I think it's a good decision in many ways. I can see both sides, though, because, like, Primaris Grimaldus, Primaris Helbrecht, Mephiston, and others have all really benefited from looking different as well, but would have also, but a lot of them were really, really, really old and looked even worse. Well, maybe not Helbrecht, but anyway, that's just me.
Yeah.
Right. Next, the Miniature of the Year was announced.
And what won this year?
Well, this is the top 10. I'm assuming these are in order, but so I'll go from 10 to 1. At number 10, the Anniversary Inquisitor miniature, Inquisitor Carter Volnus. The one with his
swords. Is that one where he's stabbing the book?
Yes.
Right, okay.
At number 9, Azrak the Annihilator. The World Eater Warhammer Plus miniature.
Yeah, it's a good miniature. I'm surprised it got so high, but then again, I'm surprised so many people actually, bought Warhammer Plus, but that's just another issue altogether.
At number 8, I'm assuming, Ulrak the Drowner, the Nighthaunt miniature.
I've completely forgotten what that is.
It's the Boatman.
Right, okay.
At number 7, the Guard Army set. Yes, the whole box.
They put an entire box set?
Yep.
That's cheating, isn't it?
Well, they did it again because the next one down's the Heresy box.
Oh, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, putting an entire box set up for nomination. That's cheating. I'm sorry.
At 5, the Night Abominant. At 4, the Goth Rocker.
I'm generally surprised it's that high.
It's honestly a kick-ass model, though.
It is, but I am generally surprised it's that high.
Right, and now the ones I actually know are in order, because that I've just assumed based on the order they put them in. At 3, Bayard's Revenge, the Black Templar Codex art recreation.
Oh, the one where you stab in New York?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. That's deserved, yeah. Okay.
At number 2, prepare for more bullshit, it's the Chaos Warriors army set.
What?
The whole box.
No, I'm sorry. Box sets should not be eligible. I'm sorry. That's utter bullshit.
And at number 1, shock horror, it's a big shiny 40k miniature again. It's the Avatar of Cain, baby.
Well, at least it's not a demon Primarch this time round.
To be
still
fair,
technically a demon, but still.
Well, 20 quid says Angron wins next year.
Probably.
20 quid would be a pretty safe bet on Angron winning next year. Apparently, it absolutely stormed the vote.
Well, Angron?
No, the Avatar.
I was going to say, when you said, Angron will win next year because it stormed the vote, I was like, hang on, what?
No, the Avatar did, apparently.
Wait, hang on, wait. Where did Doing Claw come? Because they said they were going to put them on the vote.
Not in the top 10.
See, this is why they put the box sets in, because they knew if they didn't put the box sets in, Dew and Claw would be in the top 3. They fucking knew it.
Okay, there were 3 box sets in the top 10, and only 1 in the top 3, so...
Exactly. They knew that would have been Dew and Claw in that number 2 spot. They knew it.
Perhaps.
Hashtag justice for Dew and Claw.
Quite. I mean, I love the little crab boy, but at the same time, let it go. Okay.
No, this is 40k. This is Warhammer. We don't let anything go.
God.
You should know this by now.
I'm quite aware, Ram, but also I'm trying to keep the show going as well. Let it go so we can move on with the show, because otherwise it's going to turn into a crab rave. Hey, I made an actual good joke. Give me that one. That was a good joke. Right. I mentioned earlier Necromunda got another miniature alongside the Ripperjacks, which is Ajax Gorgoth, a Hive Goliath character, which I will just put there in case you haven't seen it. It is
with his massive fist.
It is very House Goliath.
He's got a massive fist, a massive chain blade, and a massive spiky mohawk made with meat hooks.
Indeed.
I love him.
Plus powered armor, apparently. It's not power armor, but...
It's powered armor.
Indeed. It comes with strength +3 and the pulverize ability.
So basically he casts fist.
Actually that is him casting fist.
Yeah.
He may also perform a tank action to get a 2+ save and immovable. So he can't be
big beefy boy.
So he can't be moved by being thrown around, he can't be knocked back, he can't be pinned.
It's Keith Lee!
Also, Ash Waste upgrade kits for Cawdor.
Ooh, I don't think I've seen these.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the article. I didn't know they were there either until just now.
Just like House Cawdor. We didn't know they were there. They were just there at the bottom.
Yeah.
How appropriate.
Correct.
Oh, I do like these. I like the little crazy mask with the little antlers and the candle skull on top of it. That's adorable.
Empire Free Company Militia would love this. If they bring back Free Company Militia for the old world, they would love this sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Right. There's one other thing I want to touch on before we get into the most recent bit of news. We got a gameplay preview of the upcoming Boarding Actions game mode. Now, this is going to be built into Arcs of Omen, if you didn't know. This was revealed on Warhammer Day, and the rules will be found in Arcs of Omen 1 in full, which is a really different way to do it, that they contain it within a lore book so that you've got a reason to buy the lore. as well, if that interests you. But they actually really showed off how the game works. Things like aura abilities don't work through walls, and how you got to move around walls and to doors in order to get through and get line of sight, measure cover. You can't see through units, and all of that. And also stripping out most of the stratagems.
Ooh.
Like, literally, in Arcs of Omen 1, I think Arcs of Omen Angron is book 1, but I'm not sure. Literally, boarding actions will reset relics, warlord traits, and stratagems, which means if you are trying to teach the game and you only own one book, you don't have to wade through a pile of stratagems. And I was talking about this with my colleagues at Warhammer Club, because we had a game before we broke up for Christmas. And one of the things I think that's really worrying me, at least, about getting into 40k, and I know the comments usually disagree with me about the accessibility of 40k and things like that, and stratagems especially, is the way stratagems have been introduced is so unuseful. It does my head in. I don't like the way they've been implemented, because basically, if you want to play the game optimally, you need to know all your stratagems before you build your list, and then build your army around your tactics, but also including which stratagems you want access to, and then play the game based around them as well. Now, I understand I am a nostalgia hoard for 5th, where this didn't exist, and I also I'm kind of enjoyed 7th, where we had Decurion and detachment abilities that did all this. But do you know what the difference was? They were
done properly.
They were built-in bonuses. They were broken as sin. Don't get me wrong, but they were built in. Certain units had them, certain units didn't. And what they did with stratagems is say, all these cool unit special rules that you might have access to as an optional thing you could take, or as a thing if you took multiple of a unit, like the Line Breaker Squadron is the one that always comes to mind, is we're going to take that out and make it a stratagem. Just why? I honestly believe you would be better doing it the way the orcs have done it with specialist mobs, where you pick a unit and then you could pay CP to designate that unit as the line breaker unit or the run and gun unit. Yes, it reduces tactical flexibility. I am aware I'm boring like that, but the complexity of building around and actively being able to, 1, remember, 2, use, and 3, prioritize stratagems correctly is such a complicated mini game in itself that I don't actually ever want to bother doing it. I did it in that game I played with my colleagues, and oh my god, I killed an entire half an intercessor squad with 5 breaches just by stacking up stratagems and all my bonuses and stuff. Yes, it was hilariously good fun, but I would have just taken that unit as the breach and clear unit, because that just made more sense to me that that's what they're good at. It's use a command point to do this. I get it. I don't know. I don't.
It annoys you so much that you're causing you to cough up a lung.
I don't like stratagems. I thought they were a neat concept at first, but there's way too many of them, and they're way too niche most of the time. Most armies probably use about 6 in a game. Usually most of them being rerolls, pass morale checks, or fight first in melee if you're a melee army, and extra relics, and maybe an extra warlord trait on another hero if you want to do that. Yes, you do get some really powerful benefits, don't get me wrong, but I don't like them. I just don't. So, yeah. bun off all the hard stratagems, keep it down to the 3 basic ones, simplify warlord traits, simplify relics. In fact, let relics and warlord traits go crazy, because do you know what the difference is? They're inbuilt bonuses that stick to a unit rather than just being a card that you have to remember to activate like you're playing fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Sorry. Rant over. I understand I'm wrong. I'm in the minority on stratagems. I know. But for Warhammer Club, small games, true line of sight with actual true line of sight, and minimal stratagems that can be actually taught, minimal relics, minimal warlord traits. This is perfect for pick up and play. I'm aware Kill Team exists, but that has its own levels of complexity. If you want to play basic 40k and teach it, then doing boarding actions is the natural place to expand to as a way to introduce relics, warlord traits, and stratagems if you've just taught the basic rules. Say, okay, few new rules. You can't see through walls, you can't measure through walls, and you can't measure through each other. Cool with that? Okay, we'll open all the doors for the first game so you don't have to worry about doors, and now we'll just play basic strats, basic relics, basic warlord traits. Do you get it? Okay, good. Then we'll take those basic things back to 40k and develop and develop and develop. I just think this is a really good pick up and play in your lunch break, teachable game mode. I saw Alexis tweet, can't wait for this to get ignored like Crusade. And yeah, probably. But I think this is a really good system and I really want to play it.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I feel like I've just ranted for about 20 minutes about stratagems, and basically all this was just like, hey, boarding actions is a cool game, and then I just went on a tangent, so sorry.
Boarding actions is a cool game. Fuck stratagems.
Well, the fact is basically what I was like, oh, this is cool, it's cool. They're stripping out stratagems. Fuck yes. And it genuinely made my life, I was so happy about it. And then they just put in one or two faction stratagems, like, for example, the Guard are getting one which is duck. Basically, go prone so that you can be shot over. Or get one which is essentially charge through a doorway in the movement phase. Which is really useful. Well, sort of. Like, if you now count as being an engagement range because you were shoved up to a door, they were shoved up to a door, the door opens and now you're in engagement range, you count as having charged, which is a great little thing for orcs to get.
Fair enough.
Sorry, keep it simple, stupid. To an extent. Right.
Speaking of simple and stupid, the word Burr's upgrade kit. I don't like it. The faces on the Mark 6...
Go off, King.
The Mark 6 faces, like, some of them look like they're just gurning. Like, you know when you get from 90s comics, when someone's just gurning with a cigar in their mouth, kind of thing.
I think so.
Hang on.
Like, I know obviously the faces you mean, because the helmets, because I've seen the helmet kit, but I don't quite know what you mean in terms of that phrasing.
Hang on, let me just actually, there you go.
Oh, I get what you mean now.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed
like,
the
kind
model.
of like, a stereotypical 1920s Chicago gangster type. Listen here, she kind of look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I missed a model.
What is that? Oh, it's a gobbo.
It's a Gloomspite with a Squig boss with a Nasher Squig that they're adding to the new Gloomspite wave that they're going to do in the new year. I'd forgotten that they'd revealed that, and it's a really nice model. Sorry.
I love the fact that the Squig's wearing a lucha mask. It's a little luchador Squig.
Yeah, I suppose it is. I mean, it's kind of a really nice... It's kind of like, I think, the replacement for Skarsnik.
You can still buy the Skarsnik model, can't you? Just, I'll be under a different name. It's just like...
Yeah, it has rules. This is model. It's this model.
Uh-huh.
I believe it was Squig Boss with Nasher Squig or something like that. Like, it has a big hook spear thing like Skarsnik had, and a pet squig that goes grr and eats people like Skarsnik had. I think this is the replacement for the Skarsnik model.
Yeah. Because wasn't Gobbler a bit bigger than this?
Gobbler was bigger than Skarsnik.
Yeah.
Like, he was about 1.5 guts Scars. How hard is it to say Scarstic? God, this is hard.
He was 1.5. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he was 1.5 gobos high and about 3 gobos wide.
Fair enough. What else is there in the news? I can't imagine too much considering it's been the Christmas holiday, so people are taking days off and shit.
Well, Azrael was revealed on Christmas Day. They released the Ghoul King on Boxing Day. They revealed that. They revealed that Gobbo on Christmas Eve. They revealed the Battle Forces on Boxing Day. And then today, which we're recording on Friday the 30th, and the day before, they've actually done preview videos for all 3 of the main core game systems. AOS first, then Heresy, and finally 40k. And there's a lot of interesting minis in here.
Oh yeah, one of them I think has already been decoded as being a new Snikrot.
Yeah, I decoded that within half a second.
And the other one that people seem to think is possible a new Farsight.
Yes, I can't believe you slut that one past me so quietly. Yeah. There's 5 new miniatures for 40k. They're what looks to be a Drukhari. I'm assuming that's going to be part of the Drukhari kill team as part of the Soul Vault, I think it's called, expansion. I think that's going to be a Dark Eldar kill team model with a hawk similar to the Corsairs.
Either that or it could be a new Beastmaster with the Razor Wings.
Could be, but the Beastmaster generally is on a sky... Actually, it could be, because they generally go on a skyboard, so it could be. Marines get a character with an obscenely big gun.
Oh, the weird multi-launcher rocket launcher thing.
Yeah, that is weird. To be honest, I think it will probably be fine when you look at it out of silhouette, but at the minute it just looks... To be honest, it looks like a double-barreled shotgun.
From what I understand about this whole multi-launcher thing that's these Primaris Marines are going to be having, it's like, it's one weapon, but it contains, like, the ammunition for, like, 4 or 5 different missile types, all in separate barrels on the same gun. It's like, how hard is it just to pop in a new missile each time you want to fire? For fuck's sake, Cole.
I mean, yeah.
This isn't innovation, this is stupid. This is what an orc would come up with.
I mean,
All the Dakar. A joke so funny, make them cut their lungs out again.
I'm sorry, I haven't talked much today and it's really coming back to bite me. But, like, Devastators have 3 gun options. They have flak, crack, and frag missiles.
And this is all of them.
But yeah,
at once.
Like, I get it, but you could also, what I'm hoping they do is they just have it be, like, a single character or, like, a 2-man unit like Eliminators or a 3-man unit that have actual multi-barreled rocket launchers. Like, the problem with Devastators, with rocket launchers, has generally always been you get 5 shots, all of them are therefore which are hitting on 3s at best, usually, so it's not that accurate. Actually, 4 shots, because the Sergeant never carried a missile launcher. So 4 shots, usually hitting on 3s, maybe 2s if you got lucky, wounding on probably 3s because of what you were shooting at, not penetrating the armor sufficiently, then doing d6 damage each. If you had multiple shots per Marine, that's an actual useful upgrade to Devastators.
For some reason now, I'm just reminded of those Horus Heresy, Emperor's Children, Sunkiller squads. Hey, if you want 15 las cannons in the same squad, go for it!
Yeah, but this is like, we've got 10 Devastators in 3 models. How about that? That might actually be a useful direction to take them, is have them be in, like, the heavy gravis up, the heavy armor, kind of like Eradicators, but with rocket launchers, and let them be proper siege troops. Because I think that's the one thing Primaris don't actually have yet, is proper long-ranged heavy support troops.
Just like a modified aggressor kind of thing.
Aggressors are the analog to
Terminators.
Terminators and or Centurions.
Yeah. Just make it like a long-range version of that. So instead of having, bolt storms or flame storm cannons, just give them like missile launcher arms or something.
Yeah, I think I prefer it in regular armor though, because they're sometimes just too big to deploy in cramped war zones or in bunkers and things like that. Like, this just seems like a natural thing as the Marines are having to dig in and defend their gains in Imperium Nihilus or the Indomitus Crusade. This is a natural thing for them to pick up to defend their territory. This is a natural, logical development. I know it looks stupid, but it's a natural thing for the Marines to
You say
get.
logical.
Hey, by Imperial standards saying, we're on campaign, we need to hold what we've taken because we keep coming under attack. What would be a useful thing for us to get? I know, rocket launchers for our troops.
With 5 barrels.
Yeah, the 5 barrels bit is stupid, but at least it's a logical unit type for them to get.
Basically what this is, it's basically a Primaris has gone back to Warhammer Fantasy and just picked up a Hellblaster volley gun and just launched it over his shoulder.
Hellstorm.
Now I'm talking about the Hellblaster volley gun.
Yeah, but this Empire. Is more... I think this is... Yeah, I'm talking about the Hellstorm rocket cannon thing that fired actual rockets.
I was just thinking Hellblaster just because of the amount of barrels.
Yeah, I'm thinking Hellstorm because of explosives.
Fair enough.
And it had multiple barrels too. Sorry, I'm being a pedant, I know. The one that's actually confusing me is that what looks like... Maybe just because I saw one this morning. It looks like a blooming Russian mangler from COD Zombies in terms of the silhouette. And then it just comes with a big-ass shield. If you haven't played COD Zombies, you won't understand that reference. But it's a human in very big, bulky combat armor with a shield. And I don't know what it is.
Arbites.
Oh. Why didn't I think of that? That's a fantastic suggestion. Yes, arbitrators, please. That'd be great.
That's probably going to be like an arbitrator kill team or something. Carapace armor, the riot shields, batons,
Yeah, down with that. I hadn't thought of arbitrators. That's a really good suggestion. Yep. Enough. Shut me up. Boss Snikrot is the most obvious model here because I know those blades. I own the old Boss Snikrot. He had a backpack just like that, and he had 2 knives in pretty much that pose called Mork's Teeth, and that's also a smoke grenade at his feet. So, yeah. Not to mention if you actually enhance the brightness or change the saturation of the image, you can actually make out the details in his face in that. Oh, I haven't seen this. Oh.
Like you can actually make out his features.
Yeah, you can a little bit.
You can see his teeth, you can see his jaw.
Yeah, okay, I see that. Cool. And yes, it looks like they're doing a new Farsight. Yes!
Now, I'm just going to say, because looks like there's plants by his feet, like little tree branches or whatever, how many people are going to paint them as cherry blossoms?
Most people. Probably GW included.
Probably they are, yeah.
But could we, literally, it flashed up on the screen in between Snikrot and the Space Marine. I was like, what is that? I stopped, rewound it, saw a big sword and went, Dread Knight? And then I looked at its feet and went, wait, battle suit, sword, battle suit. And then it kept spinning and it looked like shield veins, Farsight! I didn't quite squeal like that, but I was like, oh my god, Farsight, 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 Farsight.
You had a proper fangirl moment, didn't you?
Yes, I properly... Genuinely, this trailer was the highlight of my day. It's been one of those days, and this trailer, and now this podcast, was the highlight of my day. Because I love Snikrot. The fucking miniatures are a pain in the ass to build, so they've just changed nothing. And, well, they have a bit, but they've just basically kept the same model, but slightly newer, and in plastic. So, yes, I'll take one. And an actual redone, proper, badass Farsight mini. God, yes. Problem is, my friend has already converted me a Farsight out of the new style Commander miniature, so...
Okay, well, you can have another one then. You can paint this new one as a statue or something. I don't know.
I've already got the classic Farsight and the converted Farsight, so, I'm now going to have 3 Farsights.
By classic Farsight, do you mean the 3rd edition Farsight?
That's the only Farsight.
There's two Farsight models. There's the current one, and there's the one before it. Like the very first Farsight model, which had the most boring pose imaginable. How do you not know of this?
I think I do, but I can't picture it in my head. I thought he was just an upgrade sprue, rather than an actual kit.
He might have been an upgrade screw, but he was available in a box set by himself. But, like, he just stood there completely static.
Okay.
I'll try and find an image of it.
Doesn't really matter, but no, I've got the current Farsight. Sorry, I'll word myself correctly. The only thing that makes me think it's not Farsight is that's not the Dawnblade. Like, at all.
So who could it be then?
I don't know. Like, I want it to be Farsight so freaking bad. But another Tau melee hero would also not bother me. Like, even have it be that I can't believe I'm about to utter this statement out loud. Kill Farsight off and replace him with a... Oh yeah, I've seen that. Sorry, I like I said, I always assumed that was an upgrade sprue. Actually, I didn't even... Yeah, I just assumed it was an upgraded arm, as an arm swap. And a new head or something, maybe. Anyway, yeah.
That was the original one.
Yeah,
I think like his model wasn't even sold as Farsight. It was literally sold as like Oshova or something.
Same thing.
Yeah, but literally as Osho rather than as Farsight.
Yeah, I want to play around with this picture now and see if I can do the same brightness trick that you did to it. To see if I can get any details. Because the thing is, like, that is so not the Dawnblade, and it's bothering me now that the more I look at it, it's like, oh no, that's just a generic sword. Or it's just the Dawnblade's at an angle, so it's just there to trick me.
It might be at an angle.
I'm assuming it's at an angle, like side on, but then it's like he's backed up against a tree, sword out in front to block, which is actually that's exactly what pose my converted Farsight is in, so I'm going to shut up. But yeah, I like what I see, and I really, 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 really hope it's a new Farsight, because since we got new Shadowsun, like, it just needs to happen.
Mm.
But I'd also accept it being like, Kais gone mad.
I was going to say, if we get Kais, that would be nice, because that way we can actually have the Trinity.
Yeah, I'd take it being Kais who's, like, gone completely off the deep end and has genuinely just picked up a blade because he studied Shova in one of his stasis sleeps.
It's like, you got Farsight, the renegade, quote unquote. You got Shadowsun, the patient hunter, and you got Okais, the prick.
Yeah, he's not just a prick, he's a psychopath.
A psychotic prick.
It's not his fault that he's a psychopath.
He lost his mind, basically, like, I've been stuck in stasis for 300 years and I was conscious the entire time.
Like, he was always going to be a prick. He's a monad. He's a lone wolf pilot. That's his gimmick. But, yeah, him being a prick is monad. Him being a psychopath is entirely not his fault.
He's like the pack of the group. or Neville, if you prefer.
Indeed. But yes, that was the 40k preview. Heresy was fine. The main thing is plastic jet bikes seemingly confirmed. But then a librarian. But then there's a miniature. I really don't know what it is. And I want your insight.
The one on the bottom left. That was from the rumor engine a while back.
Yeah, but I've got no idea what the hell it is.
It's, if I had to guess, I'm guessing it's some sort of possessed or something similar to, like, Gal Vorbak.
Could be Mechanicus though.
It could be Dark Mechanicum, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
I'll tell you what, because the rumor engine showed like the mechanical piping. That's the same silhouette, but there's also another one with like a demonic claw. So I'm gonna guess Dark Mechanicum.
Yeah, I'd like it to be Dark Mechanicum. I just find it odd that Dark Mechanicum is going into 30k rather than 40k. What's his face? Well,
I think the reason why they're going into 30k is because you need as much variety as possible in 30k because it's literally just Imperial shit. So adding Dark Mechanicum actually adds, a nice little bit of variety. Plus you get something, more for the traitor side.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Loyalists, you got the Loyalist Legions, you got the Custodes, you got the Sisters of Silence, you got the Solar Auxilia, Mechanicum, and then Trays. You got Tray Legions, Mechanicum. Basically it, really.
Yeah, true.
Oh, and Ruinstorm Demons, but yeah, that's basically it. They don't count. So having Dark Mechanicum having Dark Mechanicum would be a nice way to actually bulk out the traitor stuff in 30k.
Yeah, that makes sense. Finally,
some kind of weird like possessed servitor or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it made me think of a Necron Flayed one. Was like there are no Necrons in 30k.
Well, we know Trazen was running around because he stole some people from Calf.
True.
And a custodian.
Because Trazen got a Trazen. The final section was for Age of Sigmar, and some of it is super duper obvious. Some of it is not. So
I know there was a lizard man. That was the obvious one.
Yeah, the most obvious one is a new Saurus warrior. I think they might also be doing new Cold One riders at the same time. I'm just grabbing the screenshots. They didn't actually post any of the screenshots like they did for 40k and 30k, so I'm just having to grab them out of the video literally as I go. So that's 3 of them. And then there was what looked like a dark elf of some... Oh no, there was 2 more. A chaos one and then a dark elf of some kind.
Given the size of the rider, it may not necessarily be a card. It could be a new Carnosaur.
But the Carnosaur's not an old kit. The Cold One's kit is ancient.
I know, but when has that stopped GW from making new model? Because the Carnosaur kit was from what? Like 7th edition fantasy?
8th.
8th edition fantasy.
It's plastic and a very good plastic. So it's genuinely not an old kit.
Maybe it's a new Croc guard, I don't know.
He's in the kit.
I don't know.
Actually, no, he just didn't come across. He's not in the game. So yeah, it could be a new Croc guard, actually. Or it could be, there was, I don't know if it has a model, there was a skink priest dinosaur, wasn't there?
Yeah, for like, because in 5th edition fantasy, you had skink Cold One riders, which were absolutely the most pointless cavalry ever, because, oh yeah, it's heavy cavalry with toughness too. It was fucking pointless.
I'm assuming there's some Lizardmen PTSD here.
Yeah, like when the following edition, when like 6th edition came out, they changed the Cold One riders from skinks to Saurus. Like, thank you, we actually have competent cavalry now. Because, oh yeah, sure, Cold Ones, yeah, they added, +2 to their armor save, by being a mount and counting as having barding due to their scales. So they had a 3-up armor save, thanks to the skinks, having shields as well. And their scaly skin counting as light armor, so 6, 5, 4, so 3-up armor save. But again, they were as tough as a paper towel.
Yeah.
It was pointless for cavalry. Like, it was utterly...
Elves say hi.
Yeah, but elves were toughness free. They were more durable. You compare a dark elf Cold One rider to a skink Cold One rider, the dark elf's gonna win out every time. Higher weapon skill, higher toughness, higher attacks, higher leadership. Granted, the skink had the cold blooded rule, which means roll 3 dice, discard the highest result for leadership tests, but still.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like skink Cold One riders were absolutely useless. The only good skink quote-unquote cavalry unit there were back then were stegodons. And even that guy was more of a monster.
I think there was a skink monster cavalry for skink priests. It was a different dinosaur that's... Oh. Or was it skink chiefs? I can't remember.
Didn't they have the Bastillodon, the big Ankylosaurus thing?
No, that's an artillery piece.
So I know skink characters could ride on pterodons, but they were flyers.
Skink on dinosaur. Hang on. Warhammer. Hang on.
You could also have them ride in a stegodon howdah.
No, I swear there was. I feel like I'm going mad, but I swear they had a unit which was like a skink chief mounted on a big ass dinosaur that wasn't a carnosaur.
I know in the Monstrous Arcanum there was the Dreadsaurian, but that was much, much bigger. Like, it was like it was pretty much dragon-sized. And I think you actually needed a bounce spell for that one as well, to actually have it in your army.
This is bothering me.
Because like most of the creatures in that book, like, you needed to actually have like a scroll of binding or something to actually bound it to your army. I think that also meant you could actually have, like, you know, the weird Skaven monsters in any other army as well, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm going mad, but also I'm willing to just move on because I don't.
Can I just say that this last model you've shown, I'm getting samurai vibes because it looks like it's got the lacquer side skirts, it's got a top knot, you know.
And two swords.
Yeah. Granted, they're not katanas, but still, I'm still getting somewhat of a samurai vibe from it. Like, part samurai, and with, like, scimitars as opposed to katanas.
It's very dark elfy. Like,
very.
I hope this is Malekith's elves.
Oh,
Sorry,
the Umbrans.
Malarians. Yeah. I really hope it's Malarian's elves.
I'm guessing that Chaos-y silhouette, I'm guessing that's a new Beastman. Oh no, hang on. For a moment, I thought it was Queek Headtaker for a moment. But he's dead.
No. Well, and one, he's dead, and two, those aren't his weapons. I think it's I'm hoping it's a new Dark Oath miniature.
So, because we know Beastmen are coming, so it could be a new Beastman.
Yeah, but
like a new Beastman War Chief kind of thing.
Yeah, but they're coming out in like January, so I just don't think they're doing the miniatures for them. I just don't think they're bothering.
We never know. It could be. Because they did show there was that one new Beastman they did show, didn't they?
Yeah, they've got a Beast Lord, but they've done this before. Like, for example, with the Ogres, they've given... How many miniatures have Ogres got in 3 editions of AOS? Oh, yes, 1. 1.
Yeah, the Ogres are in need of an update.
Yeah, 1. So, yeah, I think it's just 1 and done for the Beasts of Chaos. The first miniature is the one that's bothering me the most. And to be honest, sending a single screenshot doesn't do it justice because you've almost got to like watch it rotate in the preview in order to get any real...
It looks like a boat.
At that angle, it looks like a boat. But at another angle, it looks like a spider-like creature. It's got like wings or fins or something that look... And another angle, it's got like vines coming off it. So do you
reckon it could be something to do with the Sylvaneth or the Kerneth or whatever it is?
I don't know.
Big forest creature type thing, big forest plant monster thingy?
Could be. I'm literally going frame by ready frame, trying to pick out every single detail I can. But I don't know what it is. And it's a miniature that really is bothering me. Let me know in the comments what you think this miniature is. It's at... it's also floating on... Actually, no, yeah, it's... Oh, right. So, it seems to be a curved thing that has like a tail at the back that appears to be floating on vines or something off its base. I think... your logic of big creature, maybe with not a howdah, but seemingly then being, I think some kind of forest creature is quite logical, but it also flies. It's at 55, 56 seconds in the trailer for AOS. Let me know in the comments what you think, because it's the one that's left me the most, like, apart from, this is the one that's got me the most confused, because I really don't know what I'm looking at.
For those wondering where the trailers are, you can find them on the Warhammer TV YouTube channel and on the Warhammer community website as well.
Yeah, the links are also on all socials, so Twitter, Facebook, etc. You can access them there.
Yes. But
lots to look forward to in 2023. I saying to Ren before the show, like, when I saw the AOS one, of the 3 trailers, I thought it would be AOS first, 40k second, Heresy third, and purely because I'm not playing Heresy. But I didn't expect the 40k trailer to actually grab my interest that much. I was like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, cool.
Oh, Farsight.
But I really expected the AOS trailer to be like, oh my god, what on earth is going on here? Yes, please, give me more. And then I got this Dark Elf thing. It's like, yep, I am on board with this, as well as that Chaos thing. That looks really cool. And also New Saurus, fantastic. Then the Heresy one comes out, okay, cool, Librarian, okay, cool, jet bikes, nice, good. And then the 40k one drops and it went Farsight and Snikrot, and the little girl in my head just went... So, yes, new stuff. And, well, I'm not quite at Rip My Wallet yet, but I get the feeling I'm going to be at least a couple of purchases down before long.
Indeed. Right, anything else in the news?
No, I think we got it all. Only took us just under an hour.
Right, okay, so I guess this is getting to the bit of the show which you're looking forward to, the discussion of the Shadowsun novel.
Right, I'm just going to crack open a fresh drink, get myself a Terry's Chocolate Orange. I'm going to make myself very comfortable.
Terry's Chocolate Orange? Bloody hell.
Parents always get me one for Christmas, so yes, I'm going to make myself...
posh.
Christmas present from the parents. I don't actually go out and buy them. I'm not that posh. But yes, I've got a fresh drink. I've got my Terry's Chocolate Orange. I am in on this.
Is it the white chocolate one or the regular milk chocolate version?
Regular.
Okay. If you got the white chocolate version, you would be posh. I'm sorry. Right. Consider this your spoiler warning. If you do not wish to know the spoilers, because the novel isn't actually out yet, technically, on standard release, skip to the timestamp in the video description below. Also, as a disclaimer, since I read this novel just over 2 weeks ago, there may be 1 or 2 things I misremember just as a fair warning. So if something doesn't make sense, that might be why.
Duly noted.
Okay. Duly noted. Right. We start with our prologue. It's a desert world that did initially defect to the Tau Empire, but has since rebelled against it. According to the Tau, the human population has taken to worshipping some kind of, quote, pagan harvest god. Something called Nergleth or something like that. They don't know.
And alarm bells.
Yes. Now, bear in mind at this point in time, the Tau's experience to Nurgle and stuff specifically hasn't happened yet.
The Tau's exposure to chaos is still practically 0.
Exactly. At this point, the only one who's really been exposed to chaos is the Farsight crew. But anyway, I digress. Shadowsun and her team have basically been sent to they've been dispatched to basically quell this human uprising, which is concentrated in effectively these 3 cities that are basically all confined with these large stone pillars formed from natural stone formations in a stone, triangle essentially. Coincidentally, also very much thematically similar to Nurgle's rune, funny enough.
Boom,
but hey.
boom, boom, yes.
Yes. Symbolism. Anyway. Shadowsun ends up infiltrating one of these standing cities and sees that the human population has become absolutely filthy with disease. Your typical Nurgle stuff, let's be honest. She's basically navigating her way through to try and find somewhere to effectively plant a bomb to blow up this massive stone pillar. And as she's making her way through, she's making her way past human sentries, killing some of her fusion blasters, blah, blah, blah. Ends up going into this huge hangar, and bear in mind, she's completely cloaked while she's doing this.
Yep, XV22s.
Correct. And she enters this hangar, and a missile gets shot at her, and she hears basically one of the humans saying, I can see through your disguises, Xenos witch. Ha ha ha.
Probably a psyker then.
Not quite. Shadowsun hears the rumbling of an engine starting up. Shadowsun, meet Shadow Sword.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Start running.
It's kind of anticlimactic because she effectively just chucks a grenade through the cupola and it blows up inside the tank, killing everyone inside it. It's like, Well, that was anticlimactic. I was expecting this big fuck off fight with a Shadowsun tank, Shadow Sword tank, and it's like, nope. There you go, job's a good one.
Yeah, Shadowsun doesn't go round.
No. This is why she's a military genius. You know, she's like, you know, effectively the creed of the Tau in some instances. That I might be pushing it a bit, but anyway. But anyway, she ends up getting the bombs planted, you know, with the rest of the team. They plant the bombs. They escape. They blow up the stone's pillar thing formation. And it starts crashing down into the other one and creating like a domino effect. All the humans inside the buildings get eaten alive by a carpet of flesh-eating beetles, because of course they do, because this is 40k. And as Shadowsun's basically hovering in midair in a suit, she looks up and she sees like the native, like, you know, vultures circling overhead, you know, basically waiting to pick off, you know, the carcasses or whatever.
Yep.
Yet for a very brief moment, the circling vultures form a silhouette of a face, of a smiling face, you know, that's like almost laughing at her. And the sight of it makes her very uncomfortable.
As it should. Nurgle has noticed that.
Yeah, and she's like, is that a face? No, I'm just imagining shit. So, we cut to later. A different world. A world that has fairly recently been subjected by the Tau Empire, or been integrated into the Tau Empire, rather. And there's a meeting of the Elemental Council.
Yep, standard.
And Shadowsun, she's not the Firecast representative. She's present at the council, but she's not the Firecast representative for the council.
No, she's the supreme commander of the entire thing, so she's kind of above the Firecast commander of this particular council. She's way over the top of them.
Yeah. So you got, you know, your ethereal, who's in charge of it overall, because it's an ethereal.
Yeah.
You got an Earthcast representative. You got an Aircast representative. You got the Kindred Soul representative, who is a Kroot Shaper named, I've forgotten his first name, but his surname's Tack, so I'm just going to call him Tack. That's not going to be confusing, is it, Tack?
I mean, you
like
can just call me Neve, it works.
I know, but still. And the Firecast representative, oh look, it's Commander Shorestrike.
Oh,
from the Fourth Sphere expansion. You know, the expansion that got stuck in the warp and managed to escape thanks to the Tau God, but let's not get into that for now. It's a whole other can of worms.
Yes, the can of worms that is about to unfold is also a can of whoop-ass, because Shorestrike is made extremely xenophobic by the Fourth Sphere experience, and I'm afraid our poor Krooty friend is gonna get it.
So the conversations are going about several things, like such as the situation with the gay Vaser on the planet. There's a recent development of lots of statues being made, of a figure with four arms, with no face, but very Tau-like features, but not Tau at the same time. Statues of the god of the greater good, essentially.
Yeah.
And which is making Shadowsun a little uncomfortable. It makes Shorestrike very uncomfortable.
Excellent.
And the conversation briefly turns to the events of the Fourth Sphere expansion, and how basically Shorestrike admits, he basically admits, yeah, we left all of our Xenos auxiliaries to die because, fuck them.
Yeah, like I say, Fourth Sphere, xenophobia, big problem. After the fact, big problem.
The conversation a lot more nuanced there, but I'm just going for a very, very, very Cliff Note version of this event. This revelation, finding out that, the crew were left to die, upsets Tack, who basically launches himself at Shorestrike and basically starts beating the ever-loving shit out of him.
Yeah, because Tau cannot go in melee.
Yeah. Shadowsun steps in, pulling Tack off of Shorestrike. Before she does, Tack ends up biting down on Shorestrike's arm and breaking his arm.
Oh!
And bear in mind, huge beak, crunch.
Yeah, Kroot don't fuck about.
No. Then Shadowsun and Tack end up getting into a brawl. Shadowsun ends up having some of her ribs broken by the Kroot.
Shock.
Yeah. Shadowsun ends up managing to pin the crew to the ground, where the Ethereal's guard comes in and just basically slams the back of his head with the butt of his halberd.
Out for the
And
count.
it basically goes, yes, this outburst is unbecoming of a kindred soul. You are being removed from your position. We're going to give it to, I don't know, we're going to give it to this Nikasar, who actually, is a huge devout follower of the greater good. The greater good. That'll be the first and last time I ever do that joke in this episode. Enjoy it.
Yeah, sure.
So that gets dragged away. The Ethereal basically goes, right, let's call a little bit of a recess, after that outburst, give everyone a chance to calm down. And basically, Shadowsun's basically left the room, and someone calls out to her. She turns around. It's another Firecast warrior called, trying to remember her name, I think it was Dawn Chaser.
Okay, nice
Who
name.
basically says, she basically acts like, oh, I'm a big fan, I'm really excited to work with you. I'm a member of the Force here, but I'm really excited to work with you because Sure Strike's a prick.
Yes, he is.
And she leans in close saying, you need to talk to Tack. Why? I can't say right now. They might be watching. So Shadowsun basically instructs one of her drones to basically put up a jamming field around them so no one can listen in.
Ooh, distrust of the Ethereals. Go for it. Yes, more of this, please.
So you need to speak to Tack because he actually knows what went down with the whole Force Sphere expansion thing. With what the actual thing, what truly happened. You need to get his side of the story. You can't trust Sure Strike.
Accurate.
So, okay, so where is Tack now? He's been taken down to the planet and basically put in a gulag.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen to you if you go against the greater good.
Yeah. And she's like, why has he been taken down to the planet in a gulag? Because Sure Strike doesn't want him,
Around.
revealing the truth, essentially. So, Shadowsun ends up going down to the planet's surface, and there's Firecast warriors from the Force Sphere there on guard duty and garrison duty. And she's like, and they're like, oh, Commander, we didn't expect you here. It's like, that's fine, I'm just here to do a routine inspection and go and stand guard outside the perimeter. But Commander, Sure Strike hasn't given me any orders. Like, yeah, well, I outrank Sure Strike. Shut the fuck up. Get on over there.
Yeah, I am the supreme commander of the entire Firecast. You will do what you are told.
She's like, yes, ma'am. And Shadowsun ends up going into the jail cells that are underneath the former governor's palace on the world. Because this was a former Imperial planet, so there are still trappings of this. And she sees Tack in his jail cell and asks, okay, what the hell was that shit about with you and Sure Strike? And the crew basically goes on to say that, the stuff that Sure Strike made us do, that he unleashed us against the humans and told us to slaughter them. And Shadowsun was like, well, these were humans that refused to submit to the greater good, so it's fine. No, these were humans that did submit to the greater good.
Oh.
We were told to butcher every last one, even though they were members of the Tau Empire. We were told to slaughter them. Why? Because Sure Strike says it's their fault that, effectively, the god Talvar exists. And Shadowsun's like, I don't understand. It's like, I know you don't, but you will. Meanwhile, in orbit, the Death Guard.
Shit.
Yes. The Death Guard basically had been caught launching an assault on a couple of Tau ships. Basically, the Death Guard had arrived in system, and a Tau had been hailing them, saying, please state your purpose, why are you here, blah, blah, blah. Death Guard just continues sauntering in, torpedo, boom, boom, boom. And what's interesting is that the Tau say, oh yeah, our records say that this is an Imperial Legion called the Death Guard who specialise in biological warfare. The fact that they call them an Imperial Legion is quite interesting, I find, as opposed to a trailer.
That's very outdated.
Yes. In fact, that bit, the Death Guard actually assaulted some Tau ships on the perimeter of the system, That actually came before Shadowsun actually went down to supply, I just remembered. So I got a little bit of timing up mixed up, but it still happened nonetheless.
Yeah, point stands.
But while Shadowsun's on the planet, an Imperial transport is basically coming over towards the Governor's Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Tau Protocol, like identification dockets. The doors open, and what looks like, dozens upon dozens of civilians just start falling out of the transports.
Oh, God, the Death Guard has slaughtered them and sent them as a plague vector. Great.
No.
Oh.
They hit the ground, some of them die, and some of them just get up and start lumbering towards the tower and attacking. But here's the thing. They're all asleep.
Oh.
It's basically what's known as the sleeping plague. And while they're asleep, they're able to do insane shit like tear a towel limb from limb. Or,
humans can do that.
Or rip apart, battle suits by tearing countenance.
That they can't do.
Yeah. So Shadowsun ends up breaking Tack out of prison, and they're basically like, right, okay, we need to get out of here because this is kind of insane. Like, the Fire Warriors have formed a perimeter, they're trying to shoot them, but they're being overwhelmed. What the fuck's that? Oh shit, Geron Shah.
Fuck. Here comes the Death Guard.
Spaceman. Yep. So they end up having to, flee for their lives, essentially. Shadowsun being pursued by what is effectively a Death Guard Terminator.
Well,
just slamming through a wall, trying to crush her.
Not Blight Lord Terminators. Death Shroud Terminators are ludicrously slow, so...
Yeah, but this wasn't a Death Shroud. This is a regular Death Guard Terminator rather than a Death Shroud.
All right.
But Space Marines can be fast when they want to, especially in pursuit of prey.
True.
But anyway, what happens with this? Oh yeah, a Death Guard sorcerer ends up casting a spell which causes effectively a plague rain, which basically corrupts everything it starts touching. Part of Shadowsun's battlesuit gets hit by this rain, and it starts to slowly seize up and corrode, forcing her to basically eject herself from the suit. But before she does so, she ends up having her battlesuit's feet take a sample of the corrupted soil for study for the Earthcast later. Pragmatism and all that. So she and Tag end up having to escape through a hedge maze. The crew's just literally just leaping over the hedge maze, because crude. And Shadowsun having to basically try and navigate the actual hedge maze.
Right.
But before they actually get to the hedge maze, a warp rift opens, and you can see into the Garden of Nurgle, and plague bearers start coming through it.
Fuck.
And Shadowsun thinks,
a heck in a handbasket.
And Shadowsun thinks, okay, they're wielding rusty blades, but they're clearly intelligent because they have some sort of teleportation technology. So I'm going to try and not act hostile, so I'm going to try and ask them to basically go away. And it's like, I mean you no harm. The Tau Empire comes in peace, blah, blah, blah. Oh no, they're attacking me. Okay, pew, pew, pew. Going through the hedge maze. Where do I go? I don't know where to go. Shit. Takes one turn. Oh fuck. There's a couple of giant slugs nuzzling some dead people. They turn around. Beasts of Nurgle. They look at Shadowsun and go, play? Play, 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 play. Start charging towards everyone to play, because, as you know, Beasts of Nurgle, they're basically giant killer slug puppies. Which they are.
They are.
And she's basically running away from the Beast of Nurgle, and she basically comes to a fork in the maze. It's like, which way do I go? One way leads to the exit, one way leads to a dead end and certain death, essentially. We cut to a flashback when she's on her time on Mount Kanji. Basically during her time training with Pure Tide and all that. Is it Pure Tide?
Yeah, he's the one who trained them, yeah.
Yeah. And during this flashback, Shadowsun was basically tasked with finding a perfectly smooth pebble within a cave that's filled with pebbles.
Fun.
A seemingly impossible task. She's looking around, and she's been in the cave for days, literally subsisting off of, fungus and glowing worms just to keep her strength up. And as she's going deeper and deeper in the cave, she can hear the sound of rushing water. Ah, a river. There'll be smooth stones by the river. I'll be able to find a smooth pebble there. Why is the sound getting louder?
Oh no.
Oh fuck, Farsight and Keist redirected the fucking river underground, you bastards! Get swept up by the current, going down the cavern. Oh look, there's a fork in the road. Which one do you choose? She remembers. Go by instinct.
Yep, hunter's instinct.
Yep. So flashback to the present, she goes by instinct, gets the right way, she escapes. Boom. She ends up raiding her crew for get her oh fuck, what was it called? Her orca.
Yeah, orca transport.
Yeah, orca. It's like we need evac now, please, now. The orca's being swarmed by these sleepwalkers as well. Like they're trying to take off, and like the firecast on there, like shooting everything. Is like fuck, you fuck off. There's a pair of is it fire blades? You know, the ones who have the swords.
The commanders, yeah, the sub commanders.
Yeah. They're like fighting them. I was like, will you fuck off? Blah, blah. Tak and Shadowsun end up getting onto the orca. The orca starts shifting away. Hooray! What's that? Oh, it's that sorcerer again. What the fuck is he doing? Why are there flies coming out of his mouth? Why are the flies coalescing into a giant shape? What the fuck is that thing? It's a great unclean one.
Yeah, Tau don't understand demons, and even if they did, this would be a mindfuck.
Yeah. And literally everything that the ground clean one touches is basically turning into rot and blight as it does as a ground clean one. It literally picks up a tree and yeets it at the orca, taking out one of its engines.
Ha!
Meanwhile, while this is going on, and like he had the plague rain going on as well, corrupting everything it touches, the only thing that wasn't corrupted were the statues of the Talvar god.
Because they are religious icons similar to statues of the Emperor.
Yeah. And because the orca's engines are basically completely fucked, the only way they can get out of this without, alive, is to basically get into the crisis suits that are stowed away. And so Shadowsun says, okay, you guys know how to pilot crisis suits, right? It's like, yes, but we're Fireblades. We, forsook the use of the hero's mantle. We're not allowed to do so anymore.
Yeah, fuck that.
So do you want to die or not? Good point. Good. Get the crew into one as well. You are fucking joking. It's like,
crew
no,
can't
I'm fucking
pilot
not.
suits, they don't fit. Like, I agree. There's nothing wrong with it, but they don't fit.
Actually, they do say that it is forbidden for other races to wear a crisis suit.
Yes, it is, but also crew don't fit.
Yeah.
Because they're tall.
So what they end up doing, the crew ends up having to get folded into the fetal position and just basically shoved in. And so Shadowsun ends up linking all the commands of the crisis suits together, so they all follow her command, automatically, and they all basically leap out of the orca. Meanwhile, she basically radios, Tau command. They say, "Hey, the aircast, can we get an airstrike on this thing?" Aircraft do a flyby, zap the ground clean one. The ground clean one's like, "That wasn't very nice of you." So basically gets ready to pick up, something else and launch at it at the crisis suits. Meanwhile, the orca has basically spun round behind the Great Unclean One. The Great Unclean One was like, "What's that?" Oh fuck, and basically gets rammed by an exploding orca, and that banishes it.
Oh god. Yeah, well, if you're gonna have to improvise, you're gonna have to improvise, and if anyone can improvise, it's Shasera.
Yeah. It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Also, the fact that this is the Empire's first real encounter with demons is, this isn't like what Farsight found. These guys are from one planet and they do weird stuff. And then he looked into the portal. I cannot wait to see how the Ethereals try and weasel their way out of this one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, after this happens, Shadowsun and the others, they get recovered by, the other Tau. But it turns out that Shadowsun and Dawnchaser have basically contracted a disease.
So they're dead.
They're basically placed in the infirmary on life support. Because the Earthcasts are like... Yeah, quarantined, yeah, essentially. And the Earthcasts are like, we don't know what these diseases... You seem to have, like, every disease at once. This is not possible.
No go.
Yep. And, yeah. So, while she's in the infirmary under quarantine, she ends up being contacted by Surestrike. And Surestrike basically says, yeah, I'm taking command of this operation now. Oh, and by the way, I've placed an order for the world to be subjected to saturation bombing. Effectively, Tau Exterminatus.
Yeah, as near as... to be honest, he's not wrong to do so at this point. I'm not defending Surestrike. He's an asshole, but he's... At this point, it's too far gone, probably, and the world will never heal. So, yeah. Because...
There's also footage like not just humans succumbing to the sleeping plague, but also Tau succumbing to it as well.
Oh, sugar.
Yeah, which is basically part of the reason why Surestrike went, yeah, let's just bomb it. That's what the Imperials got right. Yeah, fuck it.
Sometimes you just have to do carpet bombing.
And basically, like, Shadowsun's very pissed off at this idea. It's like, yeah, you do this, not only are you going to kill millions of, Gevan, but you're going to kill, thousands of Tau as well. And Surestrike's like, oh well, lol. Cut translation.
Fucking hell, Surestrike, I hate you.
And not only this, but the Death Guard, they're making their approach, towards the Startide Nexus. And it's like, hey, if they get through, the Tau Empire's kind of fucked. So, they come up with ideas like, well, can we, sabotage the Nexus so when they go through it and send them somewhere else? It's like, well, you could try, but if you do, we'll lose the Nexus completely, potentially, so we'll be stuck here. Yeah, no thank you. What other thing can we potentially do to try and stop the Death Guard? I know, says Shadowsun. I'll form the fucking A-Team. Basically, her, Tack, a Nikasar, whose name I don't even know how you pronounce, a sentient mushroom, that's not an orc, it's basically, I've forgotten what the creature's called. I've forgotten the name of the species, but basically in description, they're kind of like the Hanar from Mass Effect.
Oh!
The weird jellyfish things.
Oh! Hang on. Give me a minute. I'm going to have a look at my auxiliaries lore script because, I should know this, but it's been too ruddy long.
It's something beginning with CH, I think.
Probably. Tau Sept. No, go back. I've still got all my old scripts, every single one, so I will find it. That's my Farsight lore, Battlesuit lore. I didn't categorize them though, they're just in chronological order, which doesn't help. 4th and 5th sphere. Right, now I'm in the I'm in the weeds here. These are the Legion scripts. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's the Sharpactin or Carpactin. But anyway, Shadowsun, a Crude, a Sharpactin, a Nikasar, and there was going to be a human psycho though, but she's like, no, I'm too old for this shit. Fuck that.
Wait, she was going to take a psycho?
Mm-hmm. Well, all of these are psychic species. The Sharpactin is psychic, the Nikasar are psychic, the Crude is very, very, very mildly psychic to the point where it's just basically heightened instincts. Because Shadowsun realizes, well, hang on, if this mind science stuff wasn't affected by these statues of the god they're worshipping, maybe mind science might be the way to go for defeating these Death Guard. So she basically creates a psychic kill team, essentially.
Yeah, checks out.
So their plan, because she read the reports in regards to what Farsight did with his ghost keel, about the time, when he, flew up, an Imperial ship's exhaust pipe to blow it up from the inside. And Shadowsun's like, my battlesuit won't do that. I don't even have a ghost keel, so we can get you. I was like, no, that's not the point. We have to infiltrate. But how do we do that? Well, they have these void shields, but they seem to have, they only seem to be reactive to certain velocities. So if we commandeer a shuttle and just have it, coast along very slowly, we can probably just pass through the void shield without problem. Okay, we'll do that then. So they're going
I'm trying to think,
to
how many tropes are they going to hit with this?
So they end up infiltrating the Death Guard flagship. And as you might expect for a Death Guard ship, it is absolutely filthy, partially organic, and there's sewage water flowing everywhere. It is absolutely disgusting.
Which is why they're all in suits.
Yep. Also, I just want to point out how the Nikasar is portrayed as just this huge hulking monster of a character, because it's basically just a flying UFO-shaped bear.
Yeah, they don't go planet side for good reason.
Yeah. They end up encountering more plague bearers, but Nikasar literally just goes Fusro Da, blows them up. There's some more. There's some more sleepwalkers. The Sharpactin uses their natural abilities by just basically creating a rave with their bodily light show. And that actually somehow manages to snap them out of their plague. It actually wakes them up completely and it's like, where the fuck am I? What's going on? Kind of thing. So Shadowsun goes, okay, so your natural wavelengths can break the spell effectively. Okay, write that down. We can pass the information on to basically, save other worlds from being affected by fucking bombs. Right. They're trying to navigate their way through the ship, and it's like, okay, which way do we go? We go this way. How do you know? Well, Imperial ships are all the same, ain't they? As long as you know one, you know them all. Good point. We've been going around in circles because this ship doesn't want us to get anywhere because it seems to be alive. That's not possible.
Hey, now you get it. Now you get it.
We cut to another flashback of Farsight taking the right path, in Mount Kanji River, and eventually coming out. She's all ragged, she's tired, she's hungry, she's gaunt, she's soaking wet.
And she sees Pure Tide.
She sees Pure Tide waiting for him outside the cave, just sitting cross-legged on top of his drone. That's a little chair.
Yeah, hover drone.
And it's like, do you understand now? And Shadowsun's like, I understand. I was the pebble all along. You basically wanted me to wear off my harsh edges with the river to basically wear me down to make me, go with, move with less friction to basically, take things smoother and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And Pure Tide's like, no, you fucking idiots. That's not what I meant at all. And don't you dare put words in my mouth. Otherwise, I'll slap the shit out of you.
The moral I got from the story is there is no such thing as perfection, and you will always have to adapt to new scenarios rather than strive for perfection you cannot achieve.
Effectively, it was also a way of saying there will be times where you cannot make a logical decision. There will be times where you have to go with your gut.
Yeah, which for a
hunter, that is something you need to do, yeah.
Yeah, for Cao Yon, the patient hunter, you cannot rely on logic. Yeah. You've got to go with it, because when the prey is in the trap, there is no telling what it will do.
There's also the fact that while Shadowsun's patience is her greatest strength, it is also her greatest weakness.
Takes too long to act.
Exactly. Her patience makes her slow to act, which means in a life or death situation, that could cost you.
Correct. Although I love the fact you went, excuse me, no. You didn't go, that is an interesting opinion, and I see what you are saying. However,
he literally basically yelled at her for basically trying to assume what he meant. It's like, no, and don't you dare do that again, otherwise I'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, it's a really interesting, because Puretyne's always been seen as this serene, all-knowing master of everything. You know, sort of those classic, like, take Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda is probably one that a lot of our younger and middle-aged viewers will understand. But no, the mask just slips. Of like, excuse me? No.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And Shadowsun's thinking to herself, well, he really hates me. He doesn't care at all. And hang on, he must care because he was waiting for me for God knows how long. Okay. So it's just tough love. Okay, I think I understand now.
Again, putting words in his mouth, but go on.
No, but this is her internal monologue saying this. This is after Pyotr basically decided to float away on his little chair. But yeah, she kind of thinks, I think I understand now. And it's like... Good. And this basically makes her go, yes, I know we have to go now. You know, trust your instincts. They end up making their way to the bridge, and there's like sleepwalkers working the bridge crew positions. There's a couple of Death Guard there. They haven't noticed Shadowsun because, obviously, stealth. And one by one, she's like hanging around the back, and she's like taking out some of the bridge crew by just basically like putting her fusion blast on a very, 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 very narrow beam, just to basically punch a small hole in their heads, you know.
Yeah.
And one of the bridge crew she kills ends up falling on his console, hitting a big red button, Lance battery fires, you know, at nothing. And the Death Guard warlord basically says, what the fuck are you doing? Oh. How the fuck did you get on my bridge?
So you can see Shadowsun at this point. Yeah.
So it's like, Xenos witch, blah. You know, so big firefight end up going on between, you know, the A-team and the Death Guard. I was going to call them the A-team because they bloody well are.
Can we call them the S-team?
The S-team. Yeah, so... You know, gunfire, pew, pew, pew. The Sharpactin basically goes to all the bridge crew. Hey, look over here. Flash, 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 epilepsy. And yeah, you're all cured. Run away. Fuck off. The Nikasar's just going, you know, Hadouken, Fusro-Do, but then it ends up getting its arm broken by a Death Guard scythe.
Yep, it's going to do that.
Shadowsun gets into a fight with the Death Guard Lord. The Death Guard Lord actually ends up cutting off Shadowsun's foot with his scythe. Like, actually, not the foot of her suit, her foot. Sliced.
Oh, shit. Oh, dear. Well, I hope you didn't need that for controlling the suit, love.
Because she underestimated just how fast a Space Marine can actually be. Especially one as seemingly bulky and slow as a Death Guard. Never underestimate your opponent. Another major lesson you should learn. She's like, oh, fuck, what's this? Oh, a big stained glass window. Aha, idea. Smash, vacuum, woof. Everyone gets sucked out. They failed to stop the Death Guard ship, though there was a bit of a contentious relationship between the Death Guard Lord and the Sorcerer. And basically the Sorcerer ends up saying, like, you know what, I'm bored of this shit. I'm just going to take half our guys and fuck off back home. You can do what you want. We don't care anymore. So the Death Guard Lord ends up going through the Startide Nexus. And Shadowsun's like, shit, we're too late.
Yeah, now, just before you carry on, this was one of the weirdest things that happened. Because in Pariah Nexus 5, this event played out in some detail, not as much as this book is going into. The S-team didn't show up. But they just went into the Startide Nexus and never came out the other side. And the tower just bemused and went shrug and got on with it.
Yeah. As they've been sucked out into the vacuum of space, you know, Shadowsun's still in her suit, so she's fine. The Nikasar has basically created a psychic bubble around her and the Kroot.
So they're fine.
Trapping a little bubble of oxygen. You know, the crew's just sitting there, like, in the lotus positions, like, this is fine. The Sharpactin's dead, from what I remember.
Right.
You know, you have to have someone die, let's be bloody honest. Shadowsun ends up passing out, but waking up in the infirmary. He's like, is the crew okay? Yes. Is Nixar okay? Yes. Am I okay? You're still a little bit sick, but you'll be fine. Brilliant. What happened with the Death Guard ship? Her drone responds. They didn't come through. What do you mean they didn't come through? We saw them go in. Yeah, but they never emerged at the other side. I went through to check. The drone went. We find out what happened. Somehow the Death Guard ship ended up getting into the warp through the Star-Tide Nexus.
Checks out, I guess.
They've become becalmed in the warp. They're stuck.
Setting up Chekhov's gun for later. Got it.
Not quite. This is the bit you're going to love.
Oh, no.
There's something on sensors. What is it?
Oh, they've just been caught by the god of the greater good, just going, you are not going after my lot, fuck you.
It's like, who are you? I am the goddess Talva. Crush.
Yes! Yes! Eat that, Death Guard! Fuck you!
I also forgot to mention, as the S-Team were making their way to the bridge, when they're being also assaulted by tons of demons, I know what will help. What? Prayer. Are you fucking kidding? No. So the Nikasar and the crew and the Sharpak all start going praying to the greater good, and that actually ends up pushing the demons back and then banishing some of them as well. And Shadowsun's like, okay. I don't know how this works, but okay.
Have you never fought a Sister of Battle before, Sarah?
Yeah. So after she's woken up, and as she's in the infirmary, after she's woken up, she had a dream while she's in the infirmary. And in her dream...
guessing that Talva showed up.
She spoke to her, yes.
Oh, snap. Go on, then. This is the conversation. This is the Gilliman Emperor conversation for Tau players. Come on, hit me with it.
Basically, like, what are you? I am the goddess Talva. Okay, what do you want? I want to exist.
Oh.
And it's like, and Shadowsun, what you need is faith.
Oof.
We cut back, present day. Short Strike's been reprimanded by trying to make an unauthorized saturation bombing. It wasn't approved by the Ethereal.
Or Shadowsun.
So he's on report.
Yeah. Oh, what's it called?
There is a name for it.
Malkla.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Shadowsun's report from recordings in her suit. They basically said, okay, so use the Sharp Actin to cure the Sleepwalkers. Everything will be fine. And then Shadowsun ends up also making an order saying, you know how earlier I asked for all these statues, to this Tau god to be destroyed? Belay that order. Keep them up. We just got to have a little faith, for the greater good.
Michael.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. The end.
Right. Well.
Yeah. So we might have a situation where Shadowsun becomes the first religious Tau. Who knows?
Okay. Lots to unpack here.
Again, bear in mind, 2 weeks ago, so some ideas aren't as fresh in my mind, so...
No, that's fine. I'm not really actually picking the minor details about here. I'm just going to hit the big stuff. Okay, 1, we are now aware that the Tau are aware properly of Talva. I'm just going to call it Talva rather than call it the goddess Talva over and over again. I'm just going to call it Talva. We are aware that the Tau know about it. We are aware that the Ethereals are not stopping it. Because Shadowsun has got the authority whether to keep those statues up or not, and the Ethereals are not overruling her. That is worth noting.
Mm-hmm.
We are aware now that the Tau know what demons are, know how to beat them, sort of.
But they still refer to them as extraplanar Xenos.
Yeah, okay. They don't know what demons are, but they are aware of demons' existence and have some ideas about how to beat them. And we are at least resolved the situation of where did the Death Guard go in the Startide Nexus, and was shown that Tauvar does have some teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth noting that Tauvar has killed those Death Guard, which fits nicely with I want to exist, because if the Tau Empire dies, then there's no one to believe in Tauvar. So, that's why.
Correct.
It confirms Tauvar's existence, which is worth noting that up to now it's never been truly hard canon confirmed that it exists. Which is really interesting. It's a warp entity, a powerful one.
A self-aware one.
A self-aware one at that, and one that knows how it came to be and what it must do to stay there. It is intrinsic to the Tau's psyche in that it is reflective of the belief in it. It knows how it gets its power. It knows what it can do with that power and what it can't. It cannot, for example, manifest, but it can influence events around it, i.e. presumably its domain in the warp will roughly match the overlaid area of the Tau Empire in the Fifth Sphere. So, this is really, really interesting. But you know what this also sets up?
Shadowsun going, hey, Farsight, you were right.
Exactly. I am still on the train of can we just have Shas, Sho, and Kais reflecting on their collective trauma and just going, fuck the Ethereals, and kicking them out. Like, Kais, because he's just a broken psychopath that
Kais will just kill them. He'll just kill them himself.
Kais will just kill. Farsight, because he knows how he was manipulated and lied to by the Ethereals. And Shas, while she doesn't know that yet, she's now aware of Tauvar's existence and can go with it and is willing to change the Tau Empire tiny, tiny bit to allow for faith, to allow for understanding that there are beings beyond our comprehension that science cannot counter. And these things can only be beaten in certain ways. Farsight has his technology, such as the Talismans of Arthas Moloch, and doesn't have faith. Shadowsun has faith. I really, really think, I don't think they're going in this direction, but a Shas Sho reconciliation, which they set up in the Farsight books, Damocles, they set it up in Damocles, and they set it up in the Farsight books, with how they went separate ways, and then in Damocles, when Shadowsun let him get a day's head start, or whatever it was, they're on okay-ish terms with one another. Mostly Shas is the problem, and I will stick by that because I'm a Farsight fangirl. But
it'll basically be like the relationship between Sly Cooper and Carmelita Fox, for all the Sly Cooper fans out there.
Oof. Yeah.
That was a good game series. Don't have a go at that.
I'm not having a go at it. It's just like, oof, that's a reference. But no, it sets up a working relationship if contact can be re-established between Shas and Sho. The big problem being Farsight's over on one side and Shadowsun's halfway across the bloody galaxy in the Nemyar Atoll. So, problem. It's also worth noting that in Pariah Nexus 5, Shadowsun is stuck in protracted engagements, nothing chaos related, with the humans, and it's becoming a lot more protracted, and she's getting a bit frustrated. And there's also Gene Stealer cults, because that book also had Gene Stealer cults in it. So she's getting exposed to faith through the greater good, but also through seeing what it does to faith run amok when faith gets its claws too deep and science is overthrown. So between like the ecclesiarchy, Gene Stealer cults, Tau Va, and just general Tau doctrine, that sets up a really interesting balance for Shadowsun to strike with the Empire in that we must have faith in the greater good now has two meanings depending on who says it. And how people take it in the Empire will mean different things, depending on whether they are religious or not. Will we see a Tau version of the ecclesiarchy, and how deep will its jaws get in? If Alan-Var is exposed, which I really hope he is, because, you know, fuck that hologram, or don't, you know what I mean. When the Ethereal's dream comes crashing down, because hubris, they are hubris, and hubris always falls. See also the Emperor and the Eldar. This sets the Tau up in a really interesting position going forward. I believe they're going to get an Arcs of Omens book with this Farsight, whatever it is, miniature in it, which will hopefully push the story along. And I would love at some point, because literally it requires 2 models to be taken out of the bloody range. Just bun the Ethereals off. Have a proper Tau Codex where the Ethereals are now, instead of this inspiring, oh my god, this room isn't, like, twist them. Let them become priests of the greater good. Go in that direction if you want, and show the Tau being corrupted and becoming like the enemy that they hate in so many ways, the Imperium, as faith versus science, progress versus doctrine. That is such a good angle to take the Tau down if we're not staying on the noble bright side.
I'll be honest, I just want a new Aun-Shi model.
Well, yeah, that too. But there's a good chance, hopefully, Aun-Shi will get himself out of Commorragh and off to see Farsight, and we can actually have him show up.
I still would like to see what would happen when those two eventually, meet up again. It's like, hey, buddy, I heard you, made your own breakaway empire. What's up with that, buddy? Kind of thing. Because don't patronize me, Aun-Shi. Okay, sorry.
Mentor, shut up. But yes, I appreciate. Sorry that we've basically spent an hour on that. Because
there was a lot to talk about.
There was a lot to talk about, and I have been waiting for this book for a while, and I wanted to talk about it. So, close spoilers.
Yes.
That was very good. When
Yes.
it comes out, if you have any interest in Tau, read it. Or come back to this. Whatever. But no, really, 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 really good from what I've just heard.
It was good, yeah. Bit crazy in places, but the good kind of crazy.
Yeah. What's next on the docket?
The Sanguinius novel.
Ooh, shiny.
Mm.
Yeah, I need to get around to reading.
I'm about a third of the way through that right now, so hopefully I should have it done by next episode.
Yeah, I still haven't actually started the AOS books I was meaning to start, so I will get on with that. Probably go with the Hollow King. No, not that one. The Ossiarch one rather than the Vampire one.
Fair enough.
Right. There is exactly one question, one comment with the word question in it from last episode. I appreciate that, we don't always get a lot of time to answer questions, but that was like, oh, there's only one question.
Everyone's been busy since Christmas, so.
Yeah, it's fine. So the question is, why do Space Marines have a giant arrow on their armour? What does it mean?
That's tactical squad marking.
Indeed. So for those who don't know their Astartes lore, which, by the way, is completely fine, and also Insignium Astartes is a thing. Someone pointed out what that book was called in the comments, and I see you noticed that comment about Insignium Astartes.
Mm-hmm.
So, on old Marines, I forget exactly how it applies to new Marines. I think it applies to new Marines too if they've got shoulder pads properly. So the left shoulder, why did I just tap my left shoulder? No one can see me. Is the chapter symbol, 99% of the time. And the right shoulder designates their sort of role within the company. The shoulder pad trim tells you what company they belong to, with white for first, gold for second, red for third, green for fourth, blue for fifth, and so on. And the symbols are different. So a skull symbol would be a commander. A arrow represents tactical units. This is things like tactical squads, intercessors, and units like that. Units with 2 crossed double-sided arrows.
Or an X, basically.
It's an X, but they've got arrowheads on the end.
Yes.
Is assault units. So things like assault marines, Vanguard veterans, things like the assault centurions would probably come into this category. Your fast-moving units like the Impulsor, not the Impulsor, the Inceptor probably comes under this category, even though they're not melee, and the like. And for Devastator long-range support units...
It's an explosion.
Yes, it's the heavy support symbol from the Force Organization chart. In fact, most of the old markings for those units used to be the Force Organization chart ones, but actually no, they didn't, because troops have always been... Actually, troops used to be an arrow? No, yeah, they were. No, they were a triangle.
No, they weren't. I'm pretty sure they were just arrows at some point, I think.
As long as I can remember, it's in that sidewards pointing triangle that looks a bit like it's pointing.
Right.
Willing to be wrong, but I think as far back as I can remember, it's
Fair
been
enough.
that. And then a lightning bolt for fast attack. I think veterans have... It's not a Crux Terminatus marking, because that's the Crux Terminatus. It's for Terminators.
Or anyone with Terminator Romaners.
Yes. I think veteran squads don't have unique markings. They more fit in with whatever they are. So Vanguard get the Assault one rather than a Veterans one. But I don't have Insignium Astartes or the Space Marine Codex to hand, so I am willing to be corrected on that one.
Fair enough.
Yeah, veterans actually, no, I know what veterans get. They get a different coloured hat.
But I got a new hat. Just
Yeah.
like
That's the other
JK
thing. That's the other thing with Marines is the colour of their helmet usually means something. I'm going strictly off out of the Codex Ultramarine doctrines here, but standard blue helmet is regular dude, red helmet is sergeant, white helmet is veteran, and gold helmet is not command, but something like command. Because I know a lot of company champions and retinue units have gold. Might be veteran sergeant, I think. Anyway.
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you.
No. Either way, yes. Now, there's your very brief, slightly janky rundown of basic Space Marine insignia.
And on that note, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this episode of Adeptus Podcastus. We hope you enjoyed it.
I certainly did.
I'm sure you did. You can't say a word throughout the spoiler bracket, but anyway.
Yeah, I can't speak on the spoilers, but no, there's some really exciting models coming up for 2023. I suppose, last thing to end on then. Obviously, we know our favourite podcast moment from 2022 is going to be Quizcastus, but favourite hobby moment or Warhammer moment from 2022? Anything that particular sticks out?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you because I'm so souped up on painkillers right now.
Fair enough. I mean, there's been some great stuff this year. I mean, Squats came back. Plastic Heresy came out. Angron got a model. AOS just kind of sat there being the best game in the format. And no one talks about it and got some sick-ass models. We got the proper Kill Team reboot. I think that was... Oh, God, yeah, that was this year. Jesus Christ, Octarius was like in the summer. Jesus, tap dancing Christ. And yeah, there's been a lot of really good stuff in the hobby this year. Plus, we've had a really great time doing another year of Podcastus. It's a bit terrifying that we've been doing this for over 6 years now.
God, it's really been that long?
No, 5 and a bit. It was 2017. No, 2016. Yeah, 6 and a bit. September 2016 we started. 6 and a bit years of doing this. So, yeah, it has been a thrill ride, and it's one that I don't intend to get off. So, lots of good stuff.
Indeed. So, until next time, this has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
And this has been Neve from Tactica Imperialis.
And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.